Welcome to the Fierce and Fit Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Clarice Yao, a holistic health coach dedicated to helping women over 40 achieve their fittest, fiercest selves. Each week, we'll dive deep into the unique challenges of menopause, including belly fat, weight gain, muscle building, hormonal imbalances, and more. These episodes are recorded live from my free Facebook group, Fierce Women Sculpting Powerful Bodies and Champion Mindsets. Be sure to check the link in the show notes to join our incredible community and access free content, challenges, and resources designed just for you. So first of all, in terms of what this live is going to be about is, I think that everybody probably wants to transform. Everyone wants to be better and leaner and toner and tighter. But one of the biggest things for me and what we are going to talk about in the top 10 tips tonight is not just about body transformation, but the key is being able to sustain this as a lifestyle. I have been in the bodybuilding industry in the past, and I know Oshone has been our assistant coach. And one of the biggest things I see often is the inability to keep your health and fitness and your fitness level. And those of you who saw my post yesterday, yes, that was when I was competing at my national Canadian show for Canada. So obviously it was very jacked and ripped, but you don't have to always stay at a ripped and jacked. But when I say sustaining your fitness and health, it means, can you sustain a really healthy, lean body? You don't always have to look ripped. Ripped is a state that you can't sustain. It's good for show. It's good for photos. That's awesome. But the goal of me talking about transformation today is transformation for your body so that you can sustain a healthy, lean body for a lifetime. So we're going to jump into some wins first, and then we're going to dive into the topic. So the first wins I want to shout out to is our FFF Fierce Factor Group Coaching Program. They are in their last week. And ladies, these ladies have done phenomenal. Give them lots of hearts. I'm going to keep doing these hearts because I love it. So Sheila Heffy, Linnell Romero, and Mary Shields, they're wrapping up their group coaching program, but these are their results. Sheila has dropped 42.65 inches off her body. In 7 weeks, they still have one more week here, like the last measurement, and dropped 10.2 pounds and 7.9 inches off her belly. So Sheila, that is phenomenal. Congratulations. And I know she wanted to look amazing for her daughter's graduation, and she accomplished it. So we're super proud of you. Linnell Romero, you dropped 28.75 inches, 6.5 pounds, and 3.5 inches off your midsection. So super proud of you. I know life has been stressful, but you have pushed through this program. Marie Shields has lost 33.8 inches. And so that is a huge amount, and 11.1 pounds. So Marie struggles a little bit with arthritis and things like that and pain in her body, but she has been so on top of it. I know she so wants to make changes. And I can't wait to talk with you, Marie, because I know you want to maybe continue keeping these results into maybe future programs as well. So Sheila Heffy, Linnell Romero, Marie Shields, congratulations. You ladies did so well. We are currently in the uptake for the next FFF group program. There's about 2 weeks or 3 weeks that is going to be uptaking, and then we start. So you don't want to miss the semester. Please drop FFF below. Otherwise, you have to wait 2-3 months before the next program is available. So drop FFF below if you know you want to learn more on this program. And I will say, once we talk about the top 10 tips to transformation, you'll understand that FFF and some of these base coaching programs have the full formula. The full formula is needed to have the best body composition, okay? Okay, so getting into the top 10 lessons, we need to talk a little bit about what is body composition, okay? Because if you look at whether Sherry's photo, because I wanted to put her there because she's a great example of kind of lifestyle, lifestyle, health, and leanness. My picture on there is a fitness bodybuilding picture. Some of you may relate more to the bodybuilding. Some of you may relate more to Sherry. Either way, the key to transformation is having proper body composition. So what is proper body composition? It is having less fat and more muscles, okay? So, or body composition itself is talking about fat and non-fat mass, okay? But when we say body recomposition, most people are wanting less fat, more muscle, okay? So let's look at this because I want us to all understand what are we trying to achieve when you say transformation of your body, okay? So when we divide your body, okay, your body has fat-free mass and fat mass. Divide that in the middle. Your fat mass is all the fat on your body, okay? That's fat. Your fat-free mass includes a lot of other different things. That includes your muscles, your organs, your body fluids, your bones. And so you have kind of the fat-free mass where you want to like increase the muscle there, right? You can't really increase organ. You could increase body fluid though, but you usually want to increase muscle on the fat-free mass, and you want the fat mass over here to decrease, right? So we are ultimately looking to change this. Notice I didn't say weight. I didn't say just lose weight. I said what we ultimately want when we transform our body is better body composition. And so we need to know how to properly look at this and how to assess this. So there's a lot of different testing for body composition for having a nicer, leaner body. A lot of them will a little bit expensive if you really want the accurate ones, like the water displacement testing. There is I believe the DEXA scan. Those will cost money if you want really accurate results. You can get the in the middle results from those in-body scans where you press and you hold the bar or you stand on the scale, okay? Those ones are kind of in the middle. So the bioelectrical impedance machines where you hold it and they tell you your fat mass at the gym and all of that is slightly inaccurate. So I'll tell you, all of you who have stood on those or have it at home, research has shown that there's an 8 to 10% inaccuracy to what they tell you on how much fat you have, how much, muscle mass you have. So sometimes I have had people show me their readings on it and I wouldn't agree with it. So just be cautious about those things, okay? It's not fully accurate, depends on what you drank that day and so on and so forth. So really, what can we do to really understand body composition better at home, like without needing to spend all this money? So there's two things, and all my clients do this, and obviously everyone in the BioRevive system currently are doing it. So you need to you need to do both. So you're going to track body metrics, okay? Metrics, measurements, and photos. These two measurements will tell you the most about what is happening in your body in an inexpensive way, okay? So the metrics and measurements, this is really important to understand. And I want to preface this because a lot of you, number one, either may not know how to measure and understand body composition, and you just look at the scale and then you get discouraged. So body metrics, okay? When you lose body circumference, okay, but you don't lose weight, what does this mean? What does this mean? So if we actually look at fat takes more space than muscle, okay? 1 pound of fat kind of looks like this. 1 pound of muscle kind of looks like this. So fat takes a lot more space. But if you, in your first month of training or whatnot, you lose 2 pounds of fat but gain 2 pounds of muscle, you may not see any difference in the weight scale because muscle weighs more than fat. And we all know that, right? But here's the other thing is when you take metrics and you measure like your waistline and all of that, okay? If the circumference drops, which for most of my clients, they can see this very clearly, like their waist drops, their arm drops, their back drops, their legs drop, their hips drop. They drop in circumference, but weight doesn't shift. You know what that means, right? So one, at the beginning can be some of the inflammation and bloating coming down, but as time goes on, that actually means you're losing fat in your body. So this is why if circumference decreases, but weight doesn't change, then you know you're heading in generally the right direction for recompositioning your body. So this is why it's very important to know how to read these metrics and interpretations. Okay, so there's that. And then of course, progress photos as well. This is going to be really important in terms of looking at your photos side to side from week to week. Week to week is sometimes harder to tell, but if you can actually look at it over months or weeks, you will see a difference and change in your photos. If you are this person, if you are wanting to lose fat and gain muscle, so looking at yourself, what do you want? If you want to lose fat and gain muscle, I want you to put body recomposition below, okay? Put body recomposition below if you want to actually have less fat and more muscles. So let's go into the top 10 lessons of body transformation. We're going to start with lesson number 1, okay? So the first lesson in body composition for women is, sounds so simple, define your goal. Okay, if you're taking notes, put that down. Define your goal. You know, everyone has a different perception of what they want, you know. Some people look at my competition photos like, whoa, I never want a back like that. And some people are like, well, I want a back like that, right? Everyone has a different standard for what they want. So you first have to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want? What do you like? What do you want to see? You have to define your goal, because you need to define your goal so you know how to actually get the process in place to achieve this goal, okay? You need to maybe look up examples of what you want to potentially look like. You need to look up maybe what is the percentage body fat you want on your body. How someone looks at 20% looks different than 19%, then 18%, then 17%. But with that being said, you also need to understand what it takes. So when you are defining your goal, you also must define the lifestyle you choose to live. This is very crucial. A lot of people tell me, oh, I would love to look like you, Clarice, or Oshone. I would love to compete. And I would say, are you willing to do what we did? Are you willing to live the type of lifestyle that we had, the discipline, the intense macros, the intense dialing? Are you willing? So you must ask yourself, okay, so what is actually the goal I want? How do I want to look? What percentage body fat I want? And what is the willingness on my part to have that lifestyle? A really great example is, you know, myself, when I was competing full out, awesome. You know, I loved it. Obviously, competition time, I was about 17% body fat, maybe 16% body fat. You know, I think Oshone is around the same. But to sustain long-term lifestyle and focus on other goals and other things like that, I'm happy with 19-20% body fat. I'm happy with that, you know, but you have to decide what you want, right? So if some of you who are listening right now, you know what your goal is, maybe you don't, put it below. Like, put it below. What do you feel your goal is? Do you want 20% body fat, 21% body fat, or what do you want to look like? I would say anything from 20% up is going to be a little bit more lifestyle, a little bit more sustainable. Anything 20% below, unless you are genetically gifted that way, is a little bit harder. You're starting to get into very like precise lifestyle. And of course, if you want to be a competitor, you're going to be down in the 16-17% body fat, which is pretty much a certain season. You got to have very, very good nutrition and coaching behind that. Number two lesson is nutrition quality over quantity. Nutrition quality over quantity. Okay. So you have heard about this. Abs are made in the kitchen. Okay. So when you saw my abs on that bodybuilding photo, that was nutrition to a T, 0.05 grams of everything to a T. The precision behind abs are made in the kitchen is 100%. 70% of your results are going to come from nutrition. If you want to have great body transformation, you need to get a handle on your nutrition. In regards to nutrition, You need to invest into learning about nutrition. Never shortchange yourself from learning about nutrition, okay? I think there's a few things in life that are very important to learn. Nutrition is one. Finances is another one, because if you don't have good financial management, you'll never get ahead in life. If you don't have good nutrition management, you'll never have the physique and body and health that you want. And health is life. Without health, you have no life. So therefore, invest in your nutrition knowledge, okay? Next, in the nutrition side, make sure you learn to eat whole natural foods, nutrient dense foods, and that means whole foods more than packaged foods. The ladies in the Bio Revive system right now is realizing how much crap is in their food. Truly, I'm not joking. Correct, ladies? I have seen so many posts in that group where they're like, OMG, I have no idea there was so much crazy toxic things in this food, in this sauce, in this spice, in this. Like, I've been seeing all of you have like epiphany moments. I'm imagining like the cloud above your head where it's like, that's what I'm imagining, because wow, like so many of you were just blown away at my course that you guys are taking. So you need to learn what is whole natural foods, what are inflammatory markers, okay? If you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to fall for everything. So learn your nutrition. Learn your nutrition, learn to eat whole foods, learn your inflammatory markers, okay? This is extremely important. And one of the things, if you are just listening right now, I will say if you are in menopause, if you are above 40, one of the most important things you need to learn is inflammatory markers, okay? The reason behind this is because as your body ages, inflammation rises in your body. Menopause causes more inflammation. When you're in menopause, because of the increasing inflammation situation in your body, you actually have to heal your body a little bit first before you can really get into like all the nitty gritty of changing your body composition. It's not so straightforward. So the topic today is body recomposition. And a lot of women believe that it is just about caloric intake. I'm going to eat less. I'm going to lose weight. I'm just going to eat more protein, which is important. I'm going to talk about it right away. But it's not just that. If you are in menopause and you want to change your body composition, you have to heal your body first. This is what we're doing for all the ladies in my Bio Revive system, which obviously brings me such joy. I mean, it is honestly the best thing to see all your posts, to see how much this is changing your life. I know what you're learning today. All of the ladies in my Bio Revive system, in my transformation program, my muscle accelerator program, I have extended your life. I'm 100% sure. I've extended your life. I've helped prevent diseases in your body because you learn inflammatory markers. So if you don't know inflammatory markers, I want you to put inflammatory markers below. Do yourself a favor. Put inflammatory markers below. This is extremely important to learn. I don't just say it to you. I say it to my parents. I say it to my sister. It's so important, okay? So if you don't know your inflammatory markers, put it below. You need to learn inflammatory markers. Okay, so make sure a nutrition quality over quantity. Number 3 lesson, learn your macros, okay? So in terms of learning your macros, the first thing is you have to understand your basal metabolic rate, your BMR. Your BMR is the amount of calories your body needs at rest for everything in your body to function, for your organs to function optimally. All of us have a BMR. It changes a little bit, obviously, on height, weight, all of this type of stuff, but we all have a BMR. You need to know your BMR, generally speaking, so that you know generally how much more calories you need to sustain muscle building or the physique that you want. This is really crucial. Now, you can go find a calculator online to find your BMR. That's totally fine. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a second, but there is an equation called the Harris-Benedict equation. What I want to say about the Harris-Benedict equation is it is great for a general view of your basal metabolic rate, okay? However, it is very general, okay? Very general. And you can go through, it's a very complex equation you'll see in the guide. but it doesn't take into account a lot of specifics of like your lifestyle, your stress level, your hormones right now in menopause, what medication you're taking, how's your sleep level, how much do you work out, what kind of workout do you do. It doesn't take into any equation of that. So this is something that's very important for all of you to understand, okay? This goes back to number one, what is your goal? Okay, if you are I just want to generally know and generally be healthy, okay, that's good. Go and go on to the free guide. That's why I did it. I did it as multiple presentations in the city here as well. You could use it general, okay? Will you be able to produce an amazing physique and defined body, sculpted muscles from that equation? No. You would be healthy, which is great. But if your goal is to be defined, to have nice sculpted physique, then you need precise dialing of macros, okay? The more precise you want your physique to be, the more dialed your macros need to be. Can I say that again? The more precise you want your physique to be, the more dialed your macros need to be. So this is kind of why it's very important to define your goals, okay? For my current clients in the BioRevive system, you guys are learning so much about quality of food and how to bring down your belly and inflammation. And I think Jude dropped 14 pounds, which was amazing. So many of you feel great. Lisa Goldtech was like, I feel the greatest in a long time. My energy has never been so good. And that makes my heart so happy to hear. And I'm so happy for all of you in BioRevive and continuing into BioRevive. It's going to be amazing. So if this is your goal, you've got it down. But if your goal is to become sculpted and like defined and have the muscles and the cuts and all of that, then you really need to learn macros. And the macro precision will come from someone giving you the specifics of the numbers, like Nikki. Nikki, we were doing protein yesterday, and I told her we're going to get into carbs and fat. She's in my transformation program. And Marilyn was in my transformation program. Cindy was in my transformation program. So you guys have specific numbers. And then as you move into the muscle sculpting situation, you need to dial it, which is more in the muscle accelerator program. Okay. So if your goal is not that, then it's awesome to do something simpler like BioRevive. Okay. But if your goal is high level, sculpted muscles, that definition, you need to get more precision in your macro dialing. Okay, so everyone's different. Not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. I get it. So that's why I'm explaining it the way that I want to you. Okay, now, if you believe you want macro dialing, I want you to put macro dialing below. Okay, if you believe you want macro dialing. If you don't believe you want macro dialing, then don't put it, because you can still learn, and it's still important to learn, just like how to make sure your meals are combined properly, like protein, carbs, and fat. You need to make sure the protein, carbs, and fat are combined properly, but you don't have to go into the numbers. But as soon as you go into the numbers, now precision is there. Precision to 0.02 is really important. Whether you see your abs or not is going to be precision of those macros, okay? A part of this, if you believe you need macro dialing, put it below. But another part I want to talk about is nutrition partitioning. Okay, so what is nutrition partitioning? Nutrition partitioning is related to macro dialing. I'm just defining this further for you. If you want to have a really great physique, you want to have leanness, you want to have lean body fat, all of this stuff, and just a nice sculpted physique, you need to understand the way nutrition needs to be partitioned, where you can actually lose fat, but the nutrition is optimally used to build muscle. So this is a very important nutrition knowledge that you want to have from a higher level coach who knows this kind of stuff. Not just anybody, not just some trainer in the gym. They have to have knowledge behind this. You need to know the partitioning of nutrition. The better you understand how nutrition is partitioned in your body, what is happening in the cellular uptake of when you take in certain fats, certain carbs, what types of carbs, what kinds of protein, which kinds of protein does better, which kinds of proteins have higher bioavailability in your body. That will determine how defined and how precise your body gets. Okay, so this is the key. If you want to have really defined body or a really nice physique, you have to be better at understanding nutrition partitioning, or have a coach who will guide you in understanding nutrition partitioning. Okay. A part of this is also understanding protein. Okay. Now, the BioRevive system individuals, we will be tracking a little bit of your protein in the second part of the system. So it's going to provide some support for you. And obviously all the FFF group coaching, all the transformation clients, and all of the muscle accelerators, you guys have full macros to go, right? So, but protein is particularly important, yes, because you need that for muscle growth. So as you age into menopause, your protein requirement actually increases. And I was just talking to Nikki yesterday, I think, and someone else the other day, and they were like, wow, I think I'm eating a lot of protein. And I was like, yep, you are. And she's like, is it supposed to be so much? I'm like, yep, this is the typical amounts that you should eat if you want to build muscle. And if you really look into the research behind this, protein amounts are going to be higher in menopause because your body needs it and is not absorbing to the same level. It's been shown in research that women, as they age, in fact need to eat more protein rather than less. Okay. I always get asked, well, what's the general protein amounts? And there's a really large range to it. That's why it's hard to say, and you need specific dialing. But on a general basis, is anywhere between 1 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. But that range is really big, because that's like double, right? From 1 to 2. So this is why you want to get some guidance on this if you really want to have good muscle. Get guidance on knowing your protein macros, okay? So if you're like, I need to know my protein macros, put protein macros below. Number 4, a lesson on body transformation. Number 4. So you want to ensure you have a good strength training program. Now, when I say a good strength training program, you need to ensure that you have a good hypertrophy training program, okay? I always speak about this. Hypertrophy training program is a program designed more from a perspective of bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is an art form. It's a science and an art, but it is an art form because the type of workouts you do in bodybuilding has a specific reason for sculpting the shape and size of your muscle. So other types of training is important as well. Maybe as an athlete, as a soccer player, as a power lifter, all this is important too, but they're not geared towards the shape and size of your muscle. Bodybuilding hypertrophy training is the kind of like the only kind of type of discipline that really works intensely on this, okay? Doesn't mean the other athletes can't cross over. Lots of them do. Like soccer players also do hypertrophy training. Power lifters, Olympic lifters also do hypertrophy training. But what I'm saying is we look at the pure form of it. Hypertrophy training comes from bodybuilding, okay? So a little bit more for those of you who are new to this. If you are just exercising or following some sort of online program, that's great, but you have to ask yourself, what kind of training is it giving you? Is it just giving you a good body pump, some good dancing? Some of you did my dancing one in the 14-day bloat buster, which was more just like a mobility drill. Some of you like Zumba, which is fun, and it's like dancing and movement, which is all really great. But doing Zumba is not going to get you nice and sculpted. Like, let's be honest, okay? It's not going to get you nice and sculpted. You doing some sort of class is not going to necessarily help you have really good sculpting. What you need is you need to have proper programming where there is isolation of the muscle. There needs to be both compound movements and isolation. And there needs to be what I call a menopausal women training protocol. Okay, which means there needs to be a combination of different types of training within your program to produce the best result for your body. So I'll give you an example. when you're training HIIT, high intensity interval training, high intensity interval training goes really fast, really bursts of energy, 30 seconds to a minute, and then you rest. This intense type of training actually enhances your fat oxidation, and it's shown to preserve muscle mass, right? So this is why HIIT training has been touted as, wow, you need to do HIIT training, right? But the missing context behind that is too much HIIT training produces high levels of cortisol in the system. So you can't do all HIIT training. You shouldn't do all HIIT training. You also shouldn't do just resistance training. You need some combinations. Now, how you partition, it's like nutrient partitioning. You can call it exercise partitioning. When I program design for someone, it is a partitioning of different types of workouts within the program that I'm specifically wanting them to do so that we can muscular fatigue the muscle to build new shape. Okay, so ensure that whoever is designing your program really understands this principle and is not just giving you an exercise program just to exercise. But it depends on your goal. You don't have a goal to be really sculpted or anything. You just want to be generally healthy. Yeah, cool. Boot camp, anything of those can be great. You could do your own stuff. It's awesome. You're still healthy. It's your definition of what you want, right? So I'm still saying like, cool, awesome. But if you are on here and you do want more sculpted, more shape, more physique shape to your body, then you need to ensure there is hypertrophy training. There is menopausal woman training protocol, which means you need the right different types of things in there. So if you are listening to this and you're like, I need to have a better programming, I want you to put program, or you could put menopausal woman training protocol. That's very long. Maybe just put program. If you feel like, I need to have a better program for hypertrophy building, put program below. Okay. Number 5 lesson. Once you have the right hypertrophy program, you need to now go towards progressive overload. Okay, so you can write the word down if you're taking notes, progressive overload. Everything in bodybuilding is based on progressive overload, being able to increase the intensity more and more so you ultimately rip the muscle. Okay, this is the goal so that you have better shoulders, better legs, everything like that, better glutes. Okay. So how do you vary a progressive overload? The progressive overload can be varied through intensity, okay, weight, or volume of the workout. You can increase weight, you can increase number of sets, number of reps, you can increase how hard you do it. And so there's a variety of ways you can progressively overload. But if you have the right program, progressive overload is extremely important. Now, for the ladies in my muscle accelerator, this is where it applies. And Nikki, you asked me a question, I think yesterday, because Nikki is in her transformation program. And she's like, what happens after my transformation program? I'm like, don't worry, there's muscle accelerator. Don't worry, because she wants to know what's coming next. So in muscle accelerator, and Jennifer, you know this, one of the biggest things I like to work with my clients on is technical progression. So this is extremely important because I find most women do not lift properly. Okay, I see you're lifting and I go, oh no, whoa, slow down. Do you know that a lot of people who lift weights lift with their joints versus with the muscles? A lot of women lift with their joints more than their muscles. Now, I want you to think carefully about what I just said there. I see so many people going to the gym and doing lifts, and it's like, I don't think it's hitting the muscle, you know, like, and it's going past the muscle, it's going to another muscle. Or the other thing is, a lot of women lift with the wrong muscle. Okay, your body will actually lift using the biggest and easiest muscle because your body is a natural compensatory machine. Why? Because it's a survival mechanism. Okay, so there's that, but there's also often a lot of times people use their bigger muscles to compensate. A very crucial one is shoulders. You want to have like great muscle tones on your body. I see so many women doing shoulder things. They're using their traps because traps are so much bigger, so much easier to use, and you're not actually building your shoulders. And I get so many women that tell me, and guys that come to me, who's like, how do I build my shoulders? How do I build my shoulders? I just can't seem to build the shape of my shoulders. I'm like, well, let's look at your technical progression. What are you actually doing to hit that shoulder muscle? Okay, so progressive overload you can do in many different ways, but one of the crucial ones at a higher level is you need to ensure good technique. If you want to have good technique in your lifting, please put technique below. Okay, there is a reason why those who compete in bodybuilding and the ones who step on stage, okay, why is it when people step on stage in a bodybuilding world, there is still differences between the people who look amazing and those who look kind of in the middle? Why? There is actually, sometimes there's genetics too, of course, but there's actually a difference in how they're lifting. There's different types of technical progressions. And sometimes depending on how your body is built, how long your back is, how long your femur bone is, how flexible you are, that all affects the technical progression and the type of lifting you need. On this live, I can't get into it, but as you know, Clarice is not only 11 years of bodybuilding, but now I've been training consistently at Olympic lifting as well as powerlifting. So I've been looking into a lot of models of training, and how you lift depends on your body type, how long your body is, the back, how long your femur bone is. And these things though are higher level. So if you don't even have a good program, you barely go to the gym, start with a good program, start with making sure you get a coach to help you with that. If you've been lifting for a long time and you have not gotten the results you want and you want to look like a bodybuilder, man, then you need to get a good coach who knows how to technically progress you, who technically understands the femur bones and like the angle of your squat, the angle of your deadlifts, because that all matters. And I know Oshone probably is the only one who really maybe knows all the way, because there were a lot of very specific technique I needed her to work on when she was getting onto show. Number 6 is importance of recovery. Okay, so I can't emphasize this enough. It's been a journey for me as well. To be honest, I actually wish that I learned a lot more of this when I competed for Canada, because when I stepped on stage, I was dealing with a lot of cortisol and stress. Clarice is always very busy, so it's always something I also have to control. But I didn't understand the impact of it, and I know that I did not recover enough to step into stage on national show day, and couldn't get as lean and shredded as I wanted to. I was literally training 7 days a week, but I didn't understand how important recovery was at that point. So this is why I'm teaching all of you. If you want a better body, you want better total hormonal balance, you have to make sure rest and recovery is worked into your program. Those of you who have been in my program, whether it's Transformation Muscle Accelerator or FFF, you know the programming, there is a stretch program, there's a rest and recovery. We want you to rest. And Nikki even asked me, she's like, okay, why do you want me to do 2 workouts here and then a rest, and then why not 3, why not 4? She was asking questions about this. Do you remember, Nikki? And I was explaining about rest and recovery. So ensure you have good rest and recovery. Ensure that you get good sleep. I know everybody is tracking sleep in the BioRevive system. And make sure you are having good stretching and mobility work, stretching programs, and as well the mobility, like the dance routine. So if you still have the dance routine that I gave you, do it sometimes. It's very good for mobility of the joints, okay? So if you think about it for yourself and you're like, I don't actually really rest enough and I just do, I train all the time and I think that's how I'm going to get my results, but you're not seeing the results you want, I want you to put rest and recovery below, okay? Put rest and recovery below. It's an ongoing journey for Clarice. I'm not perfect in this area. Jennifer and Oshone probably laugh at me all the time because I don't rest enough. I'm calling myself out on this, okay? But
I do know it is very important. So it is something you need to be cognizant of, okay? So number 7, okay? So number 7 lesson is hormonal considerations. This is a big one, okay? Women's hormones fluctuate all the time, okay? We obviously have our menstrual cycles. Some of you get pregnant, some of menopause. We're always fluctuating in our hormones, okay? It is a little bit unfair. Guys don't deal with this as much, but it's the beauty of the woman, right? So hormones affect everything from energy levels to your metabolism to your muscle growth, okay? So why is this really important? Because hormones such as insulin, cortisol, testosterone, growth hormone, all significantly impact your body composition. You really need to be aware of what's happening in your body hormone-wise. So an example is insulin, right? Helps with your nutrition partitioning. Insulin helps with directing glucose and amino acids into your muscles. So if you don't have good insulin control, you don't know how to control the insulin in your system, which comes from nutrition knowledge, then you're going to have trouble with building muscle because you actually don't know. Here's a prime example. Nikki, if you were on here, she's told me about one of her friends and just not eating carbs, very common. I want to lose weight. I'm just going to not eat carbs. I'm just going to eliminate carbs. What is that going to do to your system? Put it under stress? What do you think your body uses to build muscle? Protein, yes. But what else? It needs carbs. Insulin needs to partition carbs into your system, right? So the key is not, oh, I can't eat carbs. The key is knowing what kinds of carbs, how to partition it, how to eat throughout the day, and then of course at high levels, how to partition the dialing of percentages, right? So the better you understand how to control the hormones, the better your body composition is, right? So hormone considerations, another thing is making sure you know how to control cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that deposits belly fat in your body. So making sure you understand how do you control cortisol in your system. And that will come through a lot of different mindset work, but like nutrition, proper workout routines, all of that. So I bring this up because I want you all to recognize if you are in menopause and 40 and above, it is very crucial that if you want good transformation of your body, you pay attention to your hormones it agrees with me here. And you find a coach who really knows about hormones. You are no longer in a stage of your life where you can just go, okay, I'm just going to eat less and exercise lots and I'm going to get the body I want. How many of you have said that? I'll just eat less and exercise more. Because a lot of you know that doesn't work anymore. And the reason is because you're combating inflammation as well as hormone changes. So the better you can understand hormones or get a coach who actually knows about hormones, that is very crucial for you to transform your menopausal body. Okay, so if you know you want to learn more about hormones, please put hormones below. In this point, I want to make sure everybody that you don't eliminate the need to understand hormones, okay? The older you get, the more you need to understand hormones. The more you need to understand everything happening in your body, from insulin to thyroid to estrogen to testosterone to progesterone to cortisol to DHEA to the better you understand this stuff, the more that you actually really know what's going on and know how to control your system. And your system's hormonal balance will determine your ultimate outcome of your body, your physique, your health, your body composition. Okay? So again, put hormones below if you want more help on hormones. Number eight lesson is consistency over perfection. If you want to have a great body transformation, which I know most of you on here want this, okay? If you want to have a great body composition, the key is consistency. Do you agree? The key is consistency, okay? It doesn't matter how well you did in my FFF program. It doesn't matter how well you did in my transformation program. It doesn't matter how well you've done in this 21-day anti-inflammation system. The key is, can you keep it up? This is so important. The thing is, okay, a lot of people are very good short term. Very good. Go hard, go hard, go hard. In fact, did you know it's not that hard to be going hard and intense? It really isn't. People can actually go hard a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I've seen it over and over 11 years of coaching. But I will tell you, it's only a small percentage of people who truly, truly can stay consistent. Small percentage of people. Okay? That is the biggest thing. And I will tell you that one of the things, I'm going to go through some things that's going to help you with consistency. But I will tell you that if you struggle with consistency, you're not abnormal. This is a normal thing. Most people do struggle. But I will tell you that results tell you everything. Okay? If you follow anyone, whether it's me, whether it's Oshone, whether it's other fitness pros, the ones who can stay consistently fit and healthy for a long-term lifetime, like year after year, like we're not talking about months, but they're like fit, like they stay fit and they keep staying fit and they just like, they're always looking amazing. Those are the people that you want to find, that you want to ask questions, that you want to learn their mindset, that you want to grab onto them and be like, tell me your formula, because there is a formula they're following that helps them stay consistent. Okay, this is very crucial because most people struggle so much with consistency and they just fall all over the place. They do so well in one program, they yo-yo back out. They do well in another program, they yo-yo back out. And that's why those in the FFF and transformation program, that's why we have Muscle Accelerator, right? There's a long-term program. Those of you in Bio Revive, that's why there is a long-term Bio Revive system. We'll talk about that when we get there for all of you in Bio Revive, because I recognize that you need to keep going, okay? So in order to have consistency, I'm going to go through 4 C's. In order to have consistency, which is the first C, you need structure, systems, and accountability, okay? So if you have no structure, no systems, and no accountability, good luck. You're not going to stay consistent. Neither would Clarice. Clarice puts structure and systems in place, and people I have to be accountable to. Okay? So first C, consistency, you need structure, systems, and accountability. Number 2, in order to make this long term, you need coaching. Okay? You need coaching. Coaching means you need to learn from someone who has gone further than you have, who has more expert knowledge than you, to guide you in understanding something you don't know. So why is this really important? Is because coaching allows you to stop coaching yourself with your own brain. And I know I said this before, but you cannot solve a problem with the same brain that created the problem. If you created the problem and you keep thinking about, I need to lose weight, I need to not eat carbs, I need to not eat fat, it's very hard to get out of that system of thinking unless you have someone who is coaching you, who is guiding you. And another part of this is, Nikki and I had a conversation yesterday, and Sherry, you'll identify with this, is during her first few weeks, she had the exact same reaction. I don't think anything is changing in my body, or I feel like maybe, but maybe not. And now she's in week 5 or 6, I believe. And now we look at her photos and she's like, oh, yes, I do see the difference. I am seeing the changes. And she said something I think is very crucial. She says, having a coach allows me to trust the process. How great is that? Having a coach allows me to trust the process. Okay. So she now understands. She may not have understood everything I was telling her near the first few weeks, but she kept going. She stayed consistent. Now she's starting to see the fruits of what she's done. And she's like, wow, I'm so glad that you're here explaining these things to me, because I see my friend struggling and she's jumping around to different approaches and diets and different things. And she's like, I don't think it's working. But maybe it is working. You just don't know what you're looking for. So make sure you have an expert knowledge guiding you. Okay. So long-term results requires consistency, coaching. The third C is curriculum. So you need to have some sort of information structure behind it. Okay. Those of you in my Bio Revive system, that's why you're going through a course. You don't know what you don't know, correct? You don't know what you don't know. How many of you said, I have no idea. My mind is boggled. Why do they put sugar in spices? What's the point of putting all this stuff? Who said that? One of you said that in the group. Your mind is boggled at why do they add so many inflammatory markers into food? But you didn't know that until you took my course, because you don't know what you don't know. So curriculum is extremely important. Tara, I think that's, you said it. Yeah. So make sure you get a curriculum and you learn. And those of you in the 21-day anti-inflammation, I'm so happy. You're learning so much about nutrition. But you might not know enough about macros yet. And you might not know enough about muscle building and the strategies and the technique. So never stop learning. Never stop being hungry to better yourself. Get into a good program, a good curriculum, okay? Because I will tell you, one of the things people fall off of a program is boredom. When they stop learning, when they don't learn anything anymore, or they don't stay curious, they will fall off because they become bored. But if you stay interested, and this comes from you too, it's not always Clarice. Like I was speaking to my MA, Clarice can't spoon feed you all the time. Like your own kids, you feed your child and your baby when they're little, but when they're 18 years old, you shouldn't have to always spoon feed them. Now, for my Bio Revive system clients, as well as my transformation and FFF, I do spoon feed you a little bit. I give you a little bit more. I'm a little bit more with you. My MAs, you guys know this. We had a conversation. You want to learn more, you have to ask more questions. Stay curious, because the hormones, let's say knowledge, you can have a 300-page encyclopedia on hormones. If you want to learn more about lifting techniques, you can have a, where is it? I was showing my friend this, the bodybuilding book. Have you seen my bodybuilding book? There is a 300-page book on bodybuilding, right? So it's like you never stop learning, and so keep hungry, keep curious, have a curriculum to follow, and that will stay consistent. And number 4C is community. Okay. So you need community to keep you motivated, encourage, shared experiences, share struggles, motivation, challenges that you guys share together. It keeps you on track. So going back to number 8 lesson, focus on consistency. Okay. And the 4 things you need to really focus on is consistency, coaching, curriculum, and community. Okay, so this is very, very important that you are able to keep going. So if you're like, hey, I need more of this, like 4 C's, put 4 C's below. So if you know you need more consistency, you need more coaching, you need more curriculum, and you need more community, put 4 C's below. Okay, so number 9 is hydration matters. This is part of body transformation and all of that. So why did I bring up hydration? Most of you know this. We track hydration in the Bio Revive system. Most of my clients in my apps are tracking hydration as well. So this is because hydration actually really affects body composition. I know that you sort of know, but you sort of don't know. Your water in your body helps you get rid of a lot of waste products and a lot of like releasing of fat products in your system. And so the better hydrated you are, the more that your system is going to be churning efficiently. And of course, better water hydration in your muscles mean better muscle building potential as well. That one's a simple one, so it's just a good reminder to stay continually tracking your water, getting all of your water in, okay? And number 10 is mental health, motivation, and mindset. This is the last lesson because I really want to encourage all of you to really focus on mindset. Okay. A good program will always have you focus on mindset. FFF, I have Oshone teach mindset in the Friday nutrition classes. In the private programs, often I talk about mindset. When I talk to Nikki about weight versus inches, about other things, not with her, but self-sabotaging thoughts, or like Sherry said, helping her with mindset. A good program will always focus on mindset. Okay. So in terms of mental health and mindset for proper transformation of your body, you need to make sure, we talked about the set goals, which is number one. You need to make sure you maintain a positive mindset through gratitude, reflection, meditation, like things that you can just relax. You want to have positive mindset through a support system. Make sure you're getting that community support that I talked about, right? And have a good support system that supports you, and have a good fitness program to stick to, okay? So why do I say this, okay? Mental health, your mindset is tied to certainty. And women need certainty. Let me tell you, if you don't know what's going on and you're kind of like all over the place, how many of you get anxious or you start worrying, right? I know this is a woman thing. Women need to have certainty. And if you don't have a solid program and you don't have something you stick to and know what to do, it creates uncertainty in your mind, and this will cause a lot of things. Let me tell you what it will cause, okay? Uncertainty will cause procrastination. It will stop you from moving forward. Uncertainty creates fear. Uncertainty stops your momentum. And uncertainty leads to doubts and fears. And so for those of you who try to figure it all out on your own, be cautious of it. If you're getting results, awesome. But if you find yourself spinning in a wheel, yo-yoing, being on and off, procrastinating, not getting to the gym, not meal prepping, not eating right one day here, not eating right the other day, this means you need to be on a structured program. You need to have certainty in sticking to something. And this is very crucial for me as well. I need to know, what am I doing? What do I have to do when I get to the gym? What's my nutrition? What's my protocols? This certainty creates a very stable mindset. And find yourself a good program to be in, something you can stick to, that you can keep going. That will help you have the best chance at consistency and body transformation. Because you and I know body transformation, like Sherry's photos or my photo, did not just happen. I competed over 3 years. I trained like crazy over 3 years to train up that type of consistency. And so you need to keep going. And if you don't have a program, you're going to fall off the program. So make sure you stay on program, okay? So if you are listening and you're like, wow, I need to work on my mindset, I need more structure systems, I want you to put program below or help below if you know you need the systems to help you, okay? And a lot of you are already in my programs, that's cool. But if some of you are not, put programs or help below if you recognize this is what you need, okay? I'm not just saying this. I mean, you can find other programs as well. I'm just saying it truthfully in that the most successful people, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the top in Miss Olympia, Mr. Olympia, do you think they follow programs? Simone Biles, the most amazing gymnast in the world, you think she has a training protocol? You think she follows nutrition protocols? Right? So please, if you want that type of result for yourself, you need to make sure you're on a solid program, okay? So put programs or help below if that is you. So I'm just going to wrap up with 2 wins as an example, okay? Now, I already referenced them here. Nikki, I referenced her multiple times. And, I want to just give her a shout out. She is in my transformation program. And she is now, like I said, in week 6. So she has lost 41.39 inches. And in the past 2 weeks, she has lost 12.16 inches. And her whole body basically has gone narrower like this, like in the picture. You know, we can see her coming in her hips, her legs, her shoulders, her arms. She's looking great. And I want to give her a shout out because of what I said earlier. She was willing to trust the process. In the first 3-4 weeks, just like Sherry a long time ago, she has this like, okay, I don't think I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I need to see, or my weight hasn't shifted as much as I want. But I'm proud of her because she kept doing her workouts consistently. She kept to her nutrition consistently, and she exactly followed what I said. And so I'm proud of her for trusting the process, and now she's starting to see the results come in. And I told her as she was looking at her body transformation and narrower, and her butt, she's getting a butt lift, her butt is becoming like nicer, and the fat in her back, you know, is becoming less and less. I'm like, it's just starting now. Now you are going to start to see what's going to happen, right? And I know Sherry really recognized this. I had the same conversation with Sherry months, years ago, you know? So really great job, Nikki. And then the second shout out is to Sherry as well, who is on here. Sherry has gone through 2 of my transformation programs as well as my muscle accelerator program. And she has gone through recently some of her own surgery stuff, but in total in the months, she has lost 58 inches and 21 pounds. You saw it on the picture yesterday. But what I'm most impressed with, guys, okay, you guys ready for this? Is despite her having surgery and going through such a traumatic thing and not being able to eat and swelling, you guys know what happens with surgery. She only gained 1 pound. Crazy. And before surgery, she had 57 inches lost in her body. And after surgery, she had 58 inches lost in her body. So she didn't change much. That's what I'm super impressed about. And this is, I want to highlight her because it is because she has the knowledge, okay? She has the knowledge to understand what she needs to do, how she needs to eat, what is good macros, what are inflammatory markers, and she's in a structured system with a coach. Everything has helped her stay consistent because most people who have surgery do not usually stay on track. You know, they usually change or they can gain 5 to 10 pounds or different things like that. So Sherry, we're so proud of you. And I know that those of you in the Bio Revive system know she's been commenting in there. She is one of our new angels. And I am going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. She is going to be helping a lot in the new Bio Revive system because she obviously has results to prove it. She's done multiple of my programs and she has the knowledge to know how to sustain this lifestyle. This is the most important thing. Remember, you always want someone who has the results to coach you. So she is really a great asset to us. You know, Sherry, we are very excited for you to be joining our angel team. And she's going to be a huge help for all of you, especially in the Bio Revive system. So this is the 10 tips. I went into a lot of detail. Everything I say in those 10 points is absolutely 100% true. So study it if you want to have the best physique possible. Okay, so like I said, if you haven't put programs or FFF, if you want to be taken into our new program, the FFF, let us know. And if you love this, tag someone on it, help someone else, tell me what you loved about it. I always like reading comments like, oh, I love learning this, or I didn't know this. I love knowing what stood out to you. And thank you to all of you for, coming on the live, to all the angels who work so hard in the background. Just know, all of you listening right now, the entire Fierce Woman community, the Bio Revive system, the Next Level Fit and Fierce, all of this is not possible without the angels. So please give them a lot of hearts because I cannot do all this alone. It is by the hands of many that we can serve all of you the best way possible. So I hope you enjoyed this live. I hope this added value. Sending you all lots of love. Love you all.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fierce and Fit Mentor podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the follow button on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, or wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If something in this episode resonated with you, please leave a review or share it with a friend who'd love it too. Your support means the world and helps us reach more amazing women like you. Until next time, stay fierce, stay fit, and let's keep building your most powerful self.